Hello, and welcome to the Indicator 13 Compliance Module Series Overview. My name is Hillary Mangus, and I work in the Patent West office and co-lead the Secondary Transition Initiative.
Hello, I'm Jackie Lister. I also co-lead the Secondary Transition Initiative, and I work out of our Patent East office.
Hi, my name is Matthew Flanagan, and I support the Transition Initiative through the central office in Harrisburg.
During this overview series, we're going to be giving you information about the Indicator 13 Compliance Module Series and how you will work through each of the modules to gain information that will help enhance your practices for writing compliant, transition-based IEPs and broaden the foundation for effective practices related to Indicator 13 of the State Performance Plan. Under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA 2004, they define a primary purpose, which is to ensure that all children with disabilities have available to them a free and appropriate public education that emphasizes special education and related services designed to meet their unique needs and prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living. So essentially, the primary purpose of IDEA is secondary transition. So what is secondary transition? I'll ask you to pay attention to the bolded items in the definition, but secondary transition as defined by IDEA is a coordinated set of activities for a child with a disability that is designed with a results-oriented process and is focused on improving the academic and functional achievement of the child with a disability to facilitate the child's movement from school to post-school activities, including post-secondary education, vocational education, integrated employment, including supported employment, continuing adult education, adult services, independent living, or community participation. This slide shows you the federal indicators that each state is required to report data on to OSEP annually. This series will specifically focus on Indicator 13, transition services for students ages 16 to 21. Yes, we know under Chapter 14 in Pennsylvania, we are required to begin transition planning and services for students who are turning 14 during the duration of the IEP. However, for the purposes of reporting to OSEP, file reviews only are collected for students age 16 and above. What I also want you to see on this slide is the areas itemized in bold: graduation, dropout, parental involvement, transition services for students age 16 to 21, and post-school outcomes, because all of these indicators are related together in secondary transition programming and planning. This slide shows the interrelation of those indicators. At the foundation, schools should be creating and implementing high-quality, rigorous, standards-aligned secondary school programs for all students. As a result, they're able to develop high-quality and compliant IEPs, which are designed to help students achieve their post-secondary goals. When this happens, we can expect that students will be more actively engaged in their education, thus staying in school and graduating. And finally, upon graduating, they are equipped with the skills needed to successfully achieve their post-secondary goals. Therefore, every student by name, regardless of background, condition, or circumstance, should have the opportunity to become proficient in core subjects, should graduate from high school ready for post-secondary education and career, and should be capable of achieving high outcomes with high expectations. This slide shows you the CMCI, or cyclical monitoring for continuous improvement, file review topics as they relate to transition. Next to each cyclical monitoring file review question is the topic that it covers, as well as each module that'll support your knowledge about this particular topic. For example, Module 1 will focus on the IEP invitation, specifically related to agency invitation and participation and student invitation to the IEP meeting. Module 2 will cover age-appropriate transition assessment. Module 3 will cover post-secondary goals in the areas of education and training, employment, and independent living. Module 4 will focus on documenting that post-secondary goals are updated annually. Module 5 is going to cover the transition grid, course of study, and activities as they get listed in the transition grid. And Module 6 will specifically focus on how measurable annual goals should be linked and listed in the transition grid.
So how are these modules set up? Each one will work pretty much the same. Prior to starting the module, we'll ask that you take a pretest. You'll need your PPID number for that. Provided right in the video will be a URL link and a QR code. Either can be used for you to click and then take the pretest. In each module, you will see the CMCI file review question. That gives you a good starting point for what you'll need to be thinking about. Compliance information is shared with you in that module. You'll get a good picture of what you need to know in order to be and ensure compliance in your IEP. Following those will be an opportunity for you to listen to a Q&A discussion. There we'll be talking a little bit about those file review questions and how can you take your IEP and that experience just a little bit beyond compliance. Here we'll be talking about best and effective practices. Finally, we'll ask you to take a post test. Again, you'll need your PPID number and a URL link and a QR code will be provided for you. Don't forget that when you take that pretest, you'll need your PPID. After you complete that pretest, you'll start the actual webinar. First, you'll see a few introductory slides, and then you'll see this file review question. All of them will look pretty much the same. That means this is the topic of that module. Following that, you'll see several slides regarding compliance and encouraging you what to do while you're writing your IEP so that you can have that target of compliance. Next, you'll see a question and answer discussion time. This will be the slide that you'll see. And here we'll be discussing a little bit about how can we go beyond compliance, a little bit into best practice and thinking about what might really work better for students as they're moving beyond here. So let's practice that Q&A right now.
So our first question is, what is the purpose of the Indicator 13 Compliance Module Series?
Great, thanks, Matt. The purpose of the Indicator 13 Compliance Module Series is to enhance practices for writing compliant, transition-based IEPs, and to broaden the foundation for effective and best practices related to Indicator 13 and the State Performance Plan.
Who is supposed to participate in this series?
Well, Matt, really anyone interested in learning about secondary transition compliance can participate in this video series. This series might be used as a refresher for those who've already participated in a training related to transition compliance, or what we call Indicator 13. LEAs may also consider providing this as a foundational training for newer teachers, or those that are newer to secondary transition. Additionally, those supervising teachers providing special education support and services to students of transition age will benefit from the series.
Great, and how many modules are there in this series?
There are 6 modules in addition to this overview module. Module 1 provides compliance and effective practices overview related to outside agency involvement and student invitation and involvement in the IEP meeting. Module 2 provides a compliance and effective practices overview of interests and preferences, academic and functional assessment, or transition assessment. Module 3 provides a compliance and effective practices overview of post-secondary goals related to education and training, employment, and independent living. Module 4 is going to give information about how to update the IEP annually as it relates to the 3 post-secondary goals. And Module 5 will provide compliance and effective practices for the transition grid, or the grid in the IEP. Included in this section is also a discussion regarding course of study, and activities and services related to post-secondary goals. And finally, Module 6 provides a compliance and effective practices overview related to writing measurable annual goals that support post-secondary goals.
And how is it decided who completes each of these modules?
Well, this series can be completed in its entirety, or individual modules may be used to enhance the skills related to a particular compliance area. This really can be an LEA by LEA decision, or it could be an individual determination.
Great, and can you go over the format of each module one more time, just to make sure that people understand the expectations?
Right, so reminder, start with your pretest and use your PPID when you're completing your pretest. Next, you're going to watch a module that'll go over compliance content and effective practices. We move beyond compliance in the Q&A discussion. Finally, you want to take the post-test and again, have access to your PPID number to complete your post-test.
And one final question, what other trainings in Indicator 13 does PATT or the IU have to offer?
Well, PATT does offer, through a mandatory Bureau of Special Education identified cohort-based targeted training in Schoology. This course is only available to the BSE targeted LEAs and is supported through coaching and technical assistance by Intermediate Unit TAC. If individual LEAs are seeking additional training around Indicator 13, they could reach out to their local IU Transition TAC or to PATT.
Great, thank you.
If you'd like more information about this particular topic, you may reach out to your IU Transition Consultant or PATT Transition Consultant by checking out the Secondary Transition Directory located on the patent.net website. Finally, don't forget to take your post-test, and you'll need your PPID number to complete it. Thanks for joining.